which are increasing day by day, but they are not getting the job. They are not being placed. We have find out that there is a chances or major chances are underemployment. An engineer is getting a job, but that is not up to the skills or their requirement. We should bring the working word into education a lot earlier and take education into the working world. That is the basic mantra to fill the gap between these two entities. That means our students should learn what is happening in the industry, what is happening in the current market, what is the demand of it, and the person who are working in the industry definitely are they are becoming obsoleted with the technology, and they should be upgraded by the technologies. They should upgrade themselves. They should learn, or they should go in a education system. So there are the two key points. One is the interdisciplinary education system that should be followed. Another is the emerging technologies that could be adopted to complete or bridge the gap. Emerging technologies influencing the education sector vastly. Artificial intelligence, IoT, Internet of Things, robotics, quantum computing, data science, 3D printing, augmented reality or virtual reality, blockchain, and many more. Now, the key mantra behind these emerging technologies is that they're not focusing on memorizing the things or cramming the things or passing the exams. It focuses on how to solve the problem. They provide the real-time solution or the practical solutions to all the problems. Now, as we say, Indian market and each and every industry is covered, fully covered with the emerging eras or emerging areas. We can see here a number of job opportunities are available. In artificial intelligence, we can find out or we can see 52,795 jobs on monster.com is vacant right now. In IoT, approximately 10,000 or more than 12,000 jobs are available on different platforms. In the robotics as well, 10 to 12,000 jobs are still vacant. In data science, which is the largest grooming emerging era, is having approximately 35 to 40,000 jobs vacant, and that all the analysis is done on the Indian market only. Same with the 3D printing, quantum computing, AR, VR, blockchain, where thousands of jobs are available and they are not getting the proficient and high-tech persons so that jobs could be fulfilled. Now, we we have studied and we all are knowing that emerging areas are contributing a lot in today's education system. Everybody, every engineering institutes, university or college is focusing on the emerging technologies. But whatever we adopt right now, whether it will be fruitful after 3 to 4 years when we will be graduate, or when will be when we'll have a degree, that means futuristic analysis should be there. And in this analysis, we concluded that more than 50% of this year's jobs, which are related to the engineering or development, is high. And with the grace of emerging field, these are on the top jobs. Artificial intelligence pundits predicts that 23 million jobs will be available in 2020 for the artificial intelligence only. According to TechCrunch.com, blockchain related jobs will be the second fastest growing category of jobs. And that is all the futuristic analysis which says that cloud computing market is going to be a $7.1 billion by 2022. Global edge computing will reach $6.72 billion by 2022. 30 billion IoT devices will come in the market this year only. 3.5 million cybersecurity jobs will be available in 2022. Machine learning market is touching approximately $8.81 billion by 2022. Same, Indian digital economy will reach $1 trillion by 2022, and Indians IT industry is contributing 10% of India's GDP by 2022, and India stand amongst 17 leading economics of the world. That means we can say if we are going with the emerging areas, emerging technologies, with the high tech things, we will never be enough failure. All the opportunities, all the job openings will secure our future. With this futuristic analysis completion, I would like to welcome our panelists. We have in the panel Mr. Rakesh Tayal, a man with a visionary educationist, vice chairman of PITE, a man behind the Education 4.0. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
We have among us Dr. Shakti Kumar, a technocrat, a thought leader, a researcher, scientist, a legend of a machine learning, director of PITE.
Hi, everybody.
We have among us Mr. Arindam Bhattacharya, a renowned career expert, motivational speaker, and a counselor. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon once again to all people present here. So I think we move into the segment which we call teat to teat. I think, and I request all panelists or all people attending the session to keep on posting their questions in the chat please, so that we can actually take them up at the later part of the session as well. Before I start forward, I request Dr. Shakti Kumar to actually give us a glimpse or indication on the entire journey about the Industrial Revolution and how he sees things evolving going forward.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Whenever there is a drastic change in the manufacturing procedures, processes, we say an industrial revolution has taken place. On the first hand, the first industrial revolution took place when manual manufacturing was transformed to machine-based manufacturing. And in the second industrial revolution, we found the men behind machines were transformed to work efficiently. And in the third industrial revolution, we found we automated the machines and robots took over in the manufacturing sector. Now we are in the era of fourth industrial revolution, where we find the intelligence machines are automating manufacturing process. Rather, we would call it that artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, machine learning, all these things have taken over and machines are becoming more and more intelligent. All this that the productivity should be more. And when we look at the world around, we find there are three main things which are contributing to the GDP of any nation. And these are service sector, manufacturing sector, and the agriculture sector. We find in all the three sectors, the productivity is required to be improved. And hence, we find artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, embedded systems, machine learning, data science, anything and everything which is from the emerging field is coming up and helping us to improve the productivity. Now, when the drastic change takes place, we get a lot of opportunities in the manufacturing sector, lot of opportunities in the service sector, and a lot of opportunities in the agriculture sector to employ these emerging technology. Basically, for this emerging technology, we need the manpower. The people should be very familiar with, people should be able to give ideas how the new machines, which could help the manufacturing, which could help the agriculture sector, or which could help the service sector, how these machines could be designed, how these machines could be applied, or how we could take work out of these machines. So basically, there is going to be another new class of professionals, maybe from the management field, maybe from the engineering field, or maybe a new set of entrepreneurs which are using these emerging fields to have the new startup to improve the productivity. So we find thousands of the jobs are available. There is a host of opportunities for the innovators to come up with the new startups, to have their new ventures, different kind of business, different kind of intelligent transportation. All these things are going to be totally transformed, and one needs to be ready. India could not take advantage of Industrial Revolution 1, 2, and 3, but now I think India is ready to take over world through Industrial Revolution 4 by learning artificial intelligence based systems, coming up with the new startups in these areas. We find the manpower from India should be trained. The new students should be developed to the new kind of professionals in the AI field. Uh, and startup opportunities after they go through the new emerging opportunities are there. So I see a bright that the Industrial Revolution 4 is offering to India and the younger generation of India.
Uh, Thank you, sir. I think sir has beautifully summed up about this direction about industrial revolution. I think it would be apt for me to put the next question forward to Mr. Rakesh Tayal. And maybe the next question will come in two parts. First part, Mr. Tayal, I think you've been working in this concept of education 4.0 for an extreme period of time. And I think I've spent a bit of time researching on it. I think what we saw was with every revolution, that industrial revolution, the education patterns kept on changing. Like possibly what we learned from the first industrial revolution to moving to the second, maybe there was a particular academic delivery pattern. Then we moved to between the second and third, there would be particular academic pattern. Then computers came into our life with internet, and I think the entire thing's changed. And today, virtually, we are absolutely at a stage where there are two things that India is looking at. India shall be definitely developed nation in the 10 to 15 years, so the journey would be different. Plus, coupled with our entire story, entire progression curve, with the given the current coronavirus challenge. So these are the two dimensions I'm talking about. And you being a well-known economist also, economics professional, having done your master's from UK. So I think it would be you the best person. You've worked on this concept beautifully. So I think it would be the best person to summarize this entire thing forward. Mr. Rakesh Tayal.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. See, Industrial Revolution 4 and all the revolutions which have already taken place before that, Industrial Revolution 3 and 2, they have given, the new requirement, in the education sphere also. But unfortunately, India has not popped up with the change in the industrial revolutions which have taken place. When the Britishers left, I tell you, in 1947, India was, the world was there in industrial revolution, 2, because 3 was about to come. But unfortunately, nothing happened in education area in India in particular. We are still continuing with education 2.0. That is what the problem is. We have not caught up with the things. We have not introduced the flip-based education in our education schools and colleges and everywhere. So the people are still, practicing rote learning, memorizing the things, standardized question papers, standardized examinations. And it is still, we are still practicing that. That is what is the most horrible thing you can have. But the thing is, if you really want to move into the next sphere, you have to look into the things that you have to make the students more critical thinkers. You should polish their creativity. You should improve their confidence. You should work on their stress factors as well, because you have to work on the emotional quotient, because whatever is being done is done only helping them improve their IQ. But when man has already made these machines who can memorize these things better than human beings, now as Director Sir has already told that the AI will make this robot more intelligent, that they will be working with you. Then the problem is how we will be training these human beings. So to train the human being, so that proper characteristics of the human being, that is creativity, that is their sensibility, that is their emotions, that could be preserved and that can be honed in a better way. So now education 4.0 is not only about artificial intelligence, blockchain, and this and that. It is about taking care of these characteristics. So you could be good in arts, you could be good in music, you could be, because you have to regulate mind. because now regulating mind is more important. That is what education 4.0 is. And how we can take that thing in our day-to-day education system is that we have to evolve this blended education concept. And because of this COVID-19, unfortunately, because this is in for education system, otherwise people would have never moved into blended sort of things, online kind of a thing. They would have continued doing the same kind of an education system which was there for the centuries, right? But now this has happened, there was no other choice, there was no other means how they could be in touch with their teachers and things like that. So now everyone has got into looking into lot many opportunities which are there on the net. The people are doing some kind of courses, lot, the most prestigious colleges, they have made their resources open to the every individual so that they can access to now. So, and education 4.0 says that web would be the curriculum, and that is, you can see it everywhere. Now people are retrieving knowledge from everywhere, from the web. Let it be London Business School, or it is Harvard University, or anything else. Now the people have access to everything, right? So now the thing is, the students, the teachers, they would become the co-learners, and we've been doing it. I would like to tell you that from the last 1 year, we have already started the Imparters technology, the video capture lecture system there. So all this kind of a blended learning and flip-based learning is very much there in our campus from 1 year, last 1 year. So we are very much practicing this education 4.0 concept, and it is delivering a lot of dividends because we believe in brainstorming and improving the creativity of the students. And I guess this is the way to go. If you really want to hone the capabilities of the students, you have to make them the front runners. You just cannot make them the passive learners. So you have to make them active. You have to involve them in the talks. You have to change the education delivery system, where a teacher will not only deliver the lecture in the class, they will act as a facilitator, right? Where everyone interacts. You will have groups in the classes, and whenever the students comes to the college, they are coming there to validate what they have learned, right? They want to share that validation, right? So that more innovation can take place. So the startups would be the new classrooms, and it will lead to new India. And I guess India will lead the world in education 4.0, in times to come. This is my firm belief.
Uh, so, thank, uh, so thank you for putting it up, because I think as I am also into the career counseling domain and actively working in this domain, actually, I think the next question also comes to you and Dr. Shakti sir. As you mentioned about startups, I think you just touched upon startups. I think, what is your perspective? Because as we see the entire record and the track record, a lot of people are actually not even from the top good colleges, and they are not looking at picking jobs anymore. They're actually wanting to experiment, go out, and what we call push the envelope. And when we are looking at pushing the envelope, it is about not about doing the conventional things. So I think there is still a conventional mindset in India where people, any student who comes to me, says कि job कितने की मिलेगी, इस college में job क्या है? At times I feel, are we doing an education system only for jobs, or we are looking at trying to create value in the entire process to the society that we're looking at? So what's your take on this? How do you see things evolving, and how, because you've been someone who's been ahead of times, how do you think the system will mature to adapt this thought of being a job provider rather than the job seeker? And current coronavirus scare would actually force us actually to doing a lot of things differently, and maybe we'll actually be propelled to become a job provider before time than anything else.
Yes, I was listening to Pradhan Mantri Modi ji's speech, yesterday, whereas like he was appealing to the countrymen that we have to be self-reliant, and when in this era of globalization, when someone the stature of a Prime Minister Modi, if he comes on the TV and says and appeal to the people that we have to be self-reliant, which is a very big thing, right? Which he's saying at, on that particular platform. It means that we have to innovate, you know We cannot rely on all the requirements, from the outside. So you have to innovate yourself. You have to come out of your shells, right? And you have to start, looking at, where the areas you can, add value, right? So what is happening, earlier was like everyone who wants to come, they want to live a very simple life. They don't want to innovate, they don't want to think, they don't want to create something new. They just want to do very kind of a monotonous work, like, and they're just looking for someone to give them job, and they will do that, and then just put the blame on someone else if something goes wrong. They don't want to take that kind of an onus on them, right? But all these kind of things which is happening, and the education 4.0, which relates more to creativity, which relates more to, ideation, creation, and invention, so these things will lead to, that kind of giving confidence to the individuals that they can also do something. And now the government is also propagating this very fact, that the Smart India hackathon has been happening, which was not kind of a thing which was happening earlier. Now, from the last 2 or 3 years, like it's been happening, and the people are taking it very seriously. And I would proud to say that we rank number one in India in the total number of selections, across the IITs and NITs. Like around 12 students from our institution, they got selected for the final round. But unfortunately, because of this COVID, the final rounds couldn't take place. That has been postponed as of now. But this is what, the change this kind of an concept has made, right? So now I am very hopeful that this kind of an startup culture, which is being, inculcated into the education system of India, I would say that the days are not far that all these kind of innovation industry and all the people from all around the world would, start looking at India for the new things to be developed. Because as if you see, like, you take America or all the developed world, all the scientists, they are Indian origin, right? The only thing is that they couldn't get that kind of a chance and the platform in India to operate and show the talent, but now, since this kind of a leverage is being provided to them, this kind of platforms is being provided to them, I don't think that the day is far, when we will be, one of the superpower and dictating the things, you know. So, and we must move into, job creator instead of job finding here and job seekers kind of a thing. So that is a gone thing. So now you have to come into the emerging technologies, and you start working, aggressively into developing your mindset, and start learning on creativity and critical thinking system, right? And that is the only way I can see and foresee how India can reshape their image in the world. As Director Sir has said that all these critical things, when the things move, that lays the foundation of the new industrial revolution, and that has already happened, and if anything has to happen, India has to take its chances. Otherwise, it cannot alleviate poverty and cannot move into the next zone.
Thank you, sir. Uh,
Yeah, sir, I have a question relating to you. We are talking about the emerging technologies, and colleges are adopting the emerging technologies that really
Shakti,
bite.
you have the
Yeah,
question for me or for someone else?
yeah,
Rakesh,
for
sir.
you as well as any of the
Okay.
my panelists can answer. Uh, so we are talking about the emerging technologies, and as you told, PITE is doing a wonderful jobs in emerging technologies and or the innovation things. But how in a college or an institute you are following the interdisciplinary education system, as you're talking about interdisciplinary education system is adopted by the government or by the UGC, how you are following it basically, and how the students could be benefited from that?
Uh,
Arindamji, you would like to answer, or should I
no,
answer?
I think, sir, you can start off, and maybe then in the trail part, I can add on something.
Okay. See, you know, earlier, the AICT didn't allow the institution to, go into the emerging fields or do some kind of interdisciplinary, study, the courses. But now the AICT is also, doing some kind of a liberal moves. They are just moving as the other world is doing at this point of time. So they are, bringing some kind of like the honor courses, right? Instead of just doing the conventional ones, they are just giving you some kind of an opportunity wherein you can chip in with some kind of an idea. Okay, fine, you want to do some kind of an IoT thing, right? And if you're good in robotics, but you have chosen mechanical, so you can, have some kind of an electronic things combination with mechanical, right? So likewise, if you're doing anything, you can just club with some kind of a specialization, whether it is artificial intelligence, whether it is blockchain, whether it is IoT, whether it is AR, VR, and smart cities and things like that. So all these things are interdisciplinary, right? You can get a major degree in one of the conventional courses which you've been doing, or the basic, engineering core branch, and then you can do some kind of a specialization in the emerging technology. Then you can get a minor specialization in that particular aspect. And we have also introduced lot many courses like this in this particular year, and approximately 12 to 15 specializations have been provided to the students in this particular format. And because now, the world is changing, so we are looking in the cars, we are looking in at our home, so we are talking about smart home solutions, right? We are not just looking for home, now we are looking for smart home solutions. We are not looking for simple car, right? We are looking for internet car, right? So, and this kind of a thing is that like a kind of a combination of two different engineering domains, right? So now that is what the requirement is, and that is what the education institute should offer, and what we are offering at this point of time, because this is the need for the art, and this is all the interdisciplinary approach that is there, which was felt by AICT and the higher authorities, and it's been rightly taken up by the institutions.
Uh, Rakesh said, I would like to just take on a bit and add on from here. Uh, I think there are quite a few queries that are coming on different dimensions. We'll definitely love to address all the queries as we go forward. But as Sir said, it's very important to understand the changing dynamics of education. As AICT has rightly introduced the concept of BTech and BTech honors. At this platform, I'd like to also share the idea about BTech and BTech honors. It's just basically purely about interdisciplinary learning, because BTech is more about a typecast conventional brand of engineering. But the need has been felt, as we would, if you could recollect the initial part of the presentation where Shakti ma'am had given a presentation, that even the engineering ecosystem is changing, where I think the kind of people who are looking at engineering jobs are wanting to become specialists, or actually picking up areas where they want to really contribute and add value. So considering this AICT in accordance with Washington Accord, which Mr. Rakesh Tal can also add at some point in time, is essentially that accord which tells us to actually look at international credits. That is about 160 credits for our BTech program and 180 credits for our BTech honors program. But the beauty between BTech and BTech honors is any student has the flexibility of going for a BTech honors program. But the only thing is we'll have to study those 20 extra credits over the period of first year, second year, third year, and fourth year. Technical engineering, the first year is common. And if he's successful in that entire process, then he obviously comes back with a degree, which is titled as BTech honors, with the minors in whichever his preferred area is. If someone wants to take mechanical and take a combination electrical vehicles, it can become BTech honors in mechanical engineering, minor in electrical vehicles. And at some stage, he feels, no, it's beyond his cup of tea. He cannot take that extra burden. He can always move out and do the conventional BTech program to walk out with a degree. So could you just throw light about this entire Washington Accord, how the process works, and how it will actually in the current corona scare, a lot of people actually from India may not want to travel abroad, and they might want to do a couple of years in India and then want to move out. And I think this BTech honors and BTech could be, I think, a brilliant boon for those people.
Yeah, yeah, I was talking to a lot many, the parents, who were like earlier, they wanted their kids to do their graduation from US or from Canada or from UK, but because of this COVID, the things have changed. The people are looking for the safety of the kids first. That is their first priority. But the thing is, like, they also have in the back of the minds that, okay, fine, if this COVID is going to be there for 1 year or 1.5 year, you don't know how the thing's going to shape. You know, what about like if my kid is not being exposed to the latest technologies, right? But the thing is, now they don't have to worry about that. All these latest technologies are being offered in Indian institutions also. And few institutions like they have already started it. And the other thing is, according to the Washington Accord, as you mentioned, Washington Accord says like any institution which is NBA accreditation, right, their credits could be transferred to any of the institution who is also NBA accredited, right? So now the thing is, if you want to do your computer science in artificial intelligence, and you want to do something here in India, and you want to move to US after 2 years, you can do it if you're doing it with the institution which has a valid NBA score or valid NBA accreditation. So that's play a very handy role in that you can do this kind of an thing from a NBA accredited institution, and then you can aspire to go out if you really want to. Otherwise these kind of things you can could be better delivered here in India, because you will find the best of the best technocrats and the best of the scientists available here in India who are working in this kind of innovations, because India has actually become a technical hub for this kind of innovations. And in times to come, in 2 years or 3 years and 4 years, the people and the whole world will be looking up to India for this kind of solutions. So I guess this kind of thing is going to give the boom to the Indian technical institutions, in particular, and it will also, will give some kind of an, very, tough time for these institutions to catch up with this kind of a challenge and competition with the world. Because now they have to there and they mean something. And on that kind of a technical collaboration, is with already with them. When it comes to you are linked with a lot many good institutions worldwide. You have that kind of a research collaboration with all the best institutions from the world, and you can do all that kind of research and project works, with the best and the best professors around the world, because you don't want to be physically there. Because of this technology, you can, as we are talking here, so you can talk with any kind of a
Hello.
professor and do any kind of a research sharing with whoever you wants to, right? You can have one professor with the University of Texas and one professor there at Hyde, so this is very much possible. So then why to waste so much of precious Indian currency and going abroad? So it is better to look for a good institution here in India and fulfill your dreams.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I think, Shakti, before I move on, there's a gentleman who's been asking a question for a period of time. And I think he's been slightly, I think there's someone's screen that has come in. I think we just need to.
There's a one girl who wants to ask the question.
Yeah, I think, no.
Yeah.
Before that, I think there was gentleman, Mr. Vivek Bansal. I think he had a question. I think, because he possibly is thinking that हमें क्या रोबोट से पहले जौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी है उसे और ज़्यादा एफिशिएंट नहीं करना चाहिए. तो I think Kashish ji, can you just unmute Vivek Bansal sir, the gentleman there?
Vivek Bansal has been unmuted.
Yeah, he's been unmuted. Yeah, Vivek ji, you can ask your question very clearly. आप हिंदी में हमसे पूछ सकते हैं.
सर मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, जैसे आपने कहा कि रोबोट टेक्नोलॉजी कर लेते हैं यूज मूव करने के लिए, तो हमें ये पहले जो से टेक्नोलॉजी चलती है हमें उससे ज्यादा एफिशिएंट नहीं करना चाहिए.
देखिए, इसका एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग आंसर उसके बाद मेरे से बहुत बड़े टेक्निकल विशेषज्ञ हैं वो बेटर बनाएंगे. मैं करियर के पर्सपेक्टिव से बताता हूँ. ये एक सवाल है कि जब मुझे पता है एक टेक्नोलॉजी आ चुकी है या उसको बदलाव के कगार पर है, या तो और जो करंट टेक्नोलॉजी, आई थिंक वी हैव टू रन बोथ थिंग्स पैरेलली. इट इज राइट. कभी आप एक रेलवे की ट्रैक बिछाते हैं, आपको पता है ब्रॉड गेज से आप मीटर गेज से ब्रॉड गेज पे जाना चाहते हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं होता कि पहले आप मीटर गेज को ही ठीक कर रहे हैं फिर आप ब्रॉड गेज पे जा रहे हैं. तो क्या होता है, मीटर गेज को चलाते रहते हैं लेकिन साथ के साथ आप ब्रॉड गेज के पूरे टेक्नोलॉजी और पूरे प्रोसेसेस को आप वर्कआउट करें ताकि आपका जो ट्रांजिशन है बिल्कुल सीमलेस और स्मूथ हो. तो आज की डेट में शायद इंडिया में जो ये एक माइंडसेट है कि पहले एग्जिस्टिंग को हम ठीक कर ले और नए को हम बाद में करेंगे, शायद कहीं ना कहीं इस टेक्नोलॉजिकल एवोल्यूशन के दौर में हम थोड़े से पीछे रह जाते हैं.
पीछे ना रहेंगे, लेकिन हमारी पहले वाली ज्यादा एफिशिएंट, जैसे हम पहले तो है हमारी इतनी एफिशिएंट नहीं है, मतलब हम आगे बढ़ते रह रहे हैं तो हमारी पिछली भी डंप हो जाएगी और अगली भी।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है कि हम पिछली वाली डंप होगी. दैट इज वेयर व्हाट वी से you have to find an optimum balance between everything so that the transition
Sir.
can happen beautifully.
Okay.
I would like to ask Director Sir, Dr. Shakti Kaur, because you've been
Yes,
a
sir.
technocrat, you've worked on these platforms about how to use interchangeability between technology to actually explain his. Before आप विवेक आप कर क्या रहे हैं फिलहाल? आप साइंस साइड से हैं, कॉमर्स साइड से आप कॉमर्स साइड से हैं?
जी सर.
ठीक है. आप कॉमर्स क्या अभी क्लास 12 के पेपर दिए हैं या अभी
जी
आप
जी.
पेपर दिया? ठीक है. आप आई थिंक आपको यू नीड अ काइंड ऑफ अ डिटेल्ड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ द टेक्नोलॉजिकल फुटप्रिंट, बट आई लाइक डायरेक्टर सर टू एक्चुअली एड्रेस दिस पॉइंट.
Look, what are we searching for? We are searching for anything and everything to be more efficient, more productive. So with the advent of, let's say, we are talking about the robots, the third generation robots or the old robots. Now, if these robots are not more productive, or if these robots can be improved to give better productivity, we will always go for the better. Anything that is better is required to be adopted. So the machinery, AI-backed machinery, is able to deliver the goods. It is able to improve your efficiency. It is able to improve your productivity. And that's what is needed today. So that's the reason that we have to go for the new generation machines, new generation software, and so on. So you can continue with the old machines, provided they are delivering the goods, but they are not delivering the goods, and hence we have to adopt to the newer one.
I think Vivek, I'll also like to answer one thing. We are actually having detailed career counseling sessions also going forward. So all these questions can be taken up beautifully in a career counseling session. आपसे बात करके मुझे ये लगा आपको कम से कम 1 घंटे की एक अच्छी काउंसलिंग सेशन की जरूरत है, जनरल काउंसलिंग की जरूरत है, ताकि आपके जो ये डाउट्स है सारी तरह से क्लियर हो सकते हैं. आप अपना नाम नंबर दे दीजिए पैनल में, so our counselor will contact with you and we'll sort all your queries out. I don't think that will be an issue.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other questions? I think a lot of people have this questions, but they are not opening up. So please free to ask questions, because I think हम लोग ये सेशंस आपके लिए ही कर रहे हैं. अगर आप जितने क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे हम लोग और खुशी महसूस होगी उन क्वेश्चंस का आंसर देने में. Please.
So I think Rasika had also raised her hand.
Yeah, please.
So she must also be willing to ask a question here.
Yeah, Rasika, go on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. My query is, Industry 4.0 is taking a very good turn in the present scenario. Could you just throw light on the syllabus of the colleges? Do you think it is becoming obsolete in this Industry 4.0 world?
Perfect, ma'am. Rasika, before we address this question, I'd like Director Sir to take it forward. We'd just like to have a brief idea about your profile. I think you're from the education background, or you're currently a teacher, or...
Yes, I am a teacher pursuing my PhD now.
Okay, you're pursuing a PhD?
Yes,
okay.
please.
And you're from the technical side, right?
No, I am basically from the economics background.
Fantastic. Okay. Director Sir, I think, so now I think there's a context, and so you can, and then Rakesh Sir can obviously...
Thank you.
Yeah, Director Sir, I think the question is for you about how do you see the curriculum? Or Rakesh Sir, you'd like to take it first, you can take it.
Unmuting you, sir, just a second. Yeah. Rakesh sir and the Director Sir both have been unmuted.
So Rakesh Sir, you can go first, and then Director Sir can take it forward.
I guess this is Director Sir's domain.
Okay, perfect.
Right. You look, we had an education system, and every education system is basically to cater for the manufacturing needs, the needs of the industry, the needs of the service sector, and the needs of the agriculture sector. If you have a look at today's scenario, we find what we need today is we need the students who had the complex problem solving ability. We need the kind of students who have got the ability of critical thinking. We need the students and the innovators who are very creative, apart from having technological knowledge, attitude, and skills. So there are three things. One is the knowledge, attitude, and skill. You find knowledge could be delivered under ordinary circumstances. Attitude could also be changed with the present set of institutions. But when we talk about the complex problem solving ability, when we talk about the critical thinking ability, when we talk about the creativity, these are the new things which are required for today's industry, and these are the things which needs to be catered for in modern education system. And that comes up with the concept of education 4.0. So education 4.0 is not merely acquiring knowledge. It is not merely acquiring skills. It is not merely changing your behavior and attitude. Apart from that, we need complex problem solving ability. That means we should be able to analyze the situations. Rather, I would say the institution should be able to give you the capability of analyzing the situation and then finding out how to use this analysis for problem solving and from the progress. And then critical thinking ability is basically using logic to find out what is going to be important in the near future. And then comes the creativity. The creativity has to be shaped up. And all these three factors, which are requirement of the today's industry, cannot be catered for with the old education system. Rakesh sir has already spoken at length about it, and I'm sure he'll be able to add on to that. Sir, would you like to add on to that?
See, I guess she was asking more about like, there is a kind of a mismatch related to like the education 4.0 and this new, the educational demand and what kind of a curriculum the institutions are being following at this point of time. I would like to tell you, Rashika, that the things are changing very fast, and all the syllabus and all the curriculum is being revised, and we are taking the expert guidance of the industry people, the what kind of need they are having, and they are coming as a partner to our institutions like IBM, the Cisco and this and that. They are partnering with us like in delivering the new concepts, right? So which are like in AI or blockchain, or what whatever the new things are coming, because all these kind of startups, like we, as I already mentioned, that we are largely focusing on setting up the startup incubation centers, and we are inviting industry people to come and set up their base in our college, and we will not be charging anything from these industries. So in return, what we will get is like our students will get the live projects, and they will be trained like what is requirement of the industry and world at this point of time. So this is how you can be able to relate it what is happening around, instead of just like looking into the books, right? You have to look outside the books, right? So instead of just looking into the syllabus, you have to have linkages with the industry, linkages with the out world, so that you can mean what the world wants out of you, right? So it is just not the things which we have to produce in the paper, right? This is about proving yourself that your solution is workable and it could be commercialized, and this could be good for the society at large. So that is what the need of the art. And I guess if you are able to create something, you can innovate something, you are doing good for the society. And if you're just good for producing good results in the university and getting a meritorious rank and here and there, innovate, able to think, you're not able to think new, then I don't think that degree values anything. So this is what my your right direction, because now the institution, academia, they are coming up with industry. Industry also wants, and I tell you one thing: we are one of the institutions that because of this COVID, we have prepared this PPE kit, and we are the only one in Haryana, so who has successfully personal protection, kits, like for the doctors and for all these health warriors, right? And we have got that tested by DRDO and Citra Labs, and we are the first one who has passed that kind of a test, and we will be producing more than 20,000 kits per day. So this is how the academia has to come hand in hand with the industry to provide solutions when the country is in need of. And that is what education is all about. So you have to innovate at the difficult times, because you have to find solutions for which the industry are not able to find. You have to show them the path, and at the right time. So that is how good this kind of a partnership can bring results in days to come. And we have to walk hand if we really want to have developed curriculum in the world. And that is partnering with the industry and the people around, instead of just looking solutions from the books.
Shakti ma'am, you have any questions?
I hope
Yeah.
I hope it's clear to you, or you want some more clarification.
Rasika ji, I think in case you had some clarification or some supplementary question to it, please come back.
So my question is,
Hello.
So I think, yeah, is it Rasika?
Yeah. It's pretty clear. Thank you so much. The basic point was just you need collaboration with the industry. Academia and industry should collaborate. That is the basic point. The gist basically comes with that. That is pretty clear. Thank you.
Yeah, Shakti ma'am, you had some other questions,
my
please.
question
Thank you.
on the behalf of 12th students, basically, the exams are over right now. And they are seeking for the admission, but right now they are stuck, they are not getting it. What should they do while they are sitting at a home and they want to make their career with the emerging technologies or engineering or BBA or MBA or any of the professional course? What they do right now while they are sitting at a home?
Okay. So I'd like to attempt this question first. I think I always believe learning can happen. I think the current situation provides you ample opportunity to learn, explore. See, as long as because first of all, I pray for everybody's health and safety. If a child is safe and healthy, I think this is a beautiful time where he has got these 3 months to himself. आप लाइफ में आगे जाएंगे, आप काम करें, कभी भी हम अपने लिए आपको टाइम नहीं मिलता. So at times this could be a kind of a time where you can actually look inwards and develop a lot of skills. Maybe someone has a true calling in the field of technology. I suggest today we are on the virtual world, and I think there are beautiful courses, online platforms which he can enroll with. In case he needs to understand some more nuances or ideas, I think there could be some people here from that class 12th set or 11th set who are at home, but they're dying to do something. They can actually get in touch with the FIGHT team and they can guide you on doing a lot of things there. And other people actually from the commerce side or humanities side, I think the best thing is to just keep your antennas open. Read about latest changes, latest techniques, latest things around. Watch good documentaries, good movies. I think as long as you do that, you're keeping yourself updated with the trends that are happening globally. If you're in sync with that, I think at the end of it, if you're from commerce side or humanities side, it's more about being updated with different aspects, even with technology. It's more about keeping yourself updated and relevant. I always use the word relevance and staying relevant. So you need to stay
I
relevant.
just want to add one thing.
Yes, sir.
If someone is looking for how to utilize his or her time at this point of time, there are a lot of e-resources which are thrown open to the public free of cost, and which is worth like thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So you can create that kind of a repository, that kind of a library with yourself, because you don't know once the this lockdown is open, all these things would be again be having a good cost attached to them. So just please look and watch out for this kind of an opportunity which has already been there. So just don't go for kind of an freeware. Just go look for some kind of a good reference material which is available, at some good sites, whether it is hardware review material or some Coursera work or this and that kind of index journals, which are very hard to find, some kind of in books which is printed by Springer or this and that. So all these kind of material, you just, download all this kind of material, just have your digital library available with you, and just look for the things which interest you, and then attend this kind of webinars, so lot many institutions and the agencies, they are doing this kind of a webinar so that you can open up your mind, just you can interact with lot many people, and in this way you can learn. So just don't kill your time just watching some kind of movies, because I beg to differ on that, because just you can see one movie in a month, right? You cannot waste your time watching movies all the time, right? So you can have good time, but that depends how much good time you want to have, you know. So
Sir, I'd like to borrow a point from you, Rakesh, sir. I think
yeah,
a lot of people and the students, I think if a contact number of a college resource person could be given, where they could, where the students can connect, I think you already, I think as much as I've understood,
we can
read.
we can give a we can give a whole list of good
Yes.
references, what to read and what not to read. You know, what are the good things related to commerce, the good things related to economics, and good things related to medical or engineering or the emerging technologies field, right? And the, you know, suggestive books, like, you know, the must read books if you are into AI or blockchain or this and that. What kind of books you should read? So we can give you some kind of these kind of an, you know, guidelines or references for that, for that sake. Yeah.
So I think the host is Mritul. You can actually share the number of Mr. Krishna Tripathi if he's here to actually coordinate this aspect from our end, so that he can actually collect the entire process for me. Yeah, ma'am. Any other
Sure.
question you had, or because before I then, in case you have some questions, Shakti ma'am.
Yeah, again, I want to ask the question. Right now, lot of specialization, lot of courses are there in the market, and they are attracting the students. And students are in a dilemma to what to opt. What type of analysis students should do while they are going for a career option or they are choosing any of the course? How you can help them to guide them in which direction they should move?
See,
So I think every student is having that type of a problem right now in this particular time. So
I
how
think
can you help them?
no, I don't think this is a problem only of this time. This is a kind of a standard problem. I like to give my perspective on this. I think this is a kind of a problem that we have, and we can relate to it if the parents can relate. So I think once we have a problem, it is important to dissect the problem. First of all, the student needs to understand and try and figure out, does he want to, because if he's unsure about the direction in which he wants to go, and there's still confusion that I want to evolve into direction X or direction Y or Z, it's always better to do a kind of a broad-based course. When I say broad-based course, and if you're from a science background with maths, nothing beats engineering. Because I've been an engineer myself, and even if you look at the database from engineering, a lot of people who do engineering, some of them actually focus into masters, and then they decide which is the direction they want to work. Like a lot of people have a thought कि मुझे automobile में कुछ करना है, कुछ automobile में करना है, लेकिन तो but he is not sure where to do in automobile, क्या करना है. So it's always better to broad base the option by either being in the mechanical domain, evolve your skills in that domain, and by the time you spend your time, spend research, do that work, so you've been zeroed down onto your area of strength, so that you can actually then work in the industry for some time and then gain the real insight as to which way you'll really progress. Like similarly, a lot of people, and if you're very clear that you've picked up your zone, that you want to become an AI expert and create a kind of a startup and a journey, so there you should then go for the specialized, like what we say, a specialized course program for AI, blockchain, cyber. If you're very clear in your mind, this is the dimension and direction you want to go for. Because I see a lot of kids from class 9 who are really focused that they want to go for a program in AI and create and innovate something in that dimension. If someone is clear to that level, get into that specific domain. And that is the options today's education system gives you. And I think with BTech honors and these, and why I say nothing beats engineering is simple, is I think engineering gives you three skills. The greatest of the skills is the problem solving mind, ability to understand, assess a problem, and arrive at a solution. Second is the ability to think critically and analyze and process it. And third, the ability to work in teams, because you work with diverse people from different backgrounds, and that is where the real learning comes. So the learning is always beyond the classroom, not inside the classroom. And complementary education 4.0, I think engineering is the way to go forward. And ma'am, as you said, about 41% is the number of people who are looking at engineering who are picking up jobs. But I would like to say about 70, because as per my assessment understanding, about 70% of the engineers are more or less sorted, because many of them also pick up a program for masters and MTech, because not everyone picks up a job. Some of them go for research. So someone who's going for research will not be a part of that data set that you mentioned. So broadly, so that is if you look at, so if I look at 41% ratio लगेगा बहुत कम है, लेकिन हम इंजीनियर्स इसलिए भी तो बनाते हैं ताकि वो फ्यूचर जनरेशन रिसर्चर्स क्रिएट कर पाए, ताकि वो सोसाइटी को चेंज कर पाए. Engineering is all about transforming the society. I think director sir can really add on this about why engineering, that scientific temper and that value in that. Yes. And I, as much as I know, your son is actually doing automobiles at a master's level. He's done that. So I think somewhere from his undergrad, he was a different field, and then he moved for master different division. Yes, sir. I think we need to unmute director, sir.
Yeah, doing it. Yes, sir.
See, engineering is basically all about making life good. It is a transformation, providing facilities, services through engineering thoughts that somehow the society's life is made good. We are progressive, and engineers have a lot of service to do to the society. So on that account, engineering is a very fascinating science which is applied to serve the humanity.
Shakti ma'am, a very interesting thing. I think we got a query uh, on the YouTube link that is also being shared simultaneously. I'm just reading it. I think there's the question is, please, I'm just reading the question. And Rakesh sir, I think you can actually take it forward. Please put some light on this COVID situation affecting our education sector. And students sitting at home should not need not worry about their future career prospects or not. So basically, to reframe it, she's saying because of the current coronavirus situation, the education sector is in a kind of turmoil. So why should the students be really worried about the future, or just let things go as it is?
You know, because the corona is really bad, which has happened, and I would pray that you know move out easily in the. But one thing is very much there. So if you know all these kind of things happens, they leave some kind of an damages behind. That is one thing. But the thing is, we need to learn from this kind of an emergencies and these kind of situations. Rather, I would take it otherwise, because I take it that it has happened as a blessing in disguise for education in particular. Blessing in disguise is why I mentioned this word, blessing in disguise, for education purpose, because we were wanting for this kind of a blended system to happen in education, because now education has two domains. One is your regular classes where you interact with the teachers and the students live, physically, right? And the other thing is like you interact and you learn things on web, right, which was not happening before. But and it was very difficult, kind of an humongous task, I would say, to make all the people to transform onto the online learning modules and things like that. Because now this kind of a problem, like 3 or 4 months, eventually these will give ample time and opportunity for all these people to explore this kind of things as well. And it will give a great push, I would say. If you have to step back a few steps, I guess you will be able to fly in times to come, because then you will be having access to both of the worlds. You will be you will be able to understand what is good and how to utilize your time in a better way. Maybe that you might be having your classes on Sundays, through your virtual classrooms, right? So even your in your holidays homework also, you will be able to interact with the teachers, right? Which was not possible, like 6 months back, or even 2 months back, because these kind of things have opened up lot many opportunities. And education will move very fast. And as per the requirement of industry 4.0, we will definitely drive our laggard education 2.0 to at least education 3.0, and then to education 4.0. And because we know that India is a huge country where you have different different towns and cities where the people don't have access to internet in lot many cities and towns. So, and the people don't understand these very concepts. For them, it will take some time to reach, but the people will catch up with this kind of thing, and you don't have to worry for this. So, don't worry, because it is happening with the whole world. So you are not lagging behind anyone in the race. And India is fortunate that we are not being hampered by it in that much. So because if everyone has to start their race after 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then, or even after 2 months, so you are starting from the same point, so you don't have to worry for that, because life is not that kind of a race. So just take it as it comes to you and enjoy every part of it, and be innovative, and don't waste your time. That is the mantra. And explore the things, and it is gonna open new mantras for everyone in education domain. And India has a lot of potential, I tell you. And now they have explored this potential of online thing, because now we are chatting on this kind of an online, which was not in existence 1.5 months back. So now we are holding this kind of meetings every day throughout the day, and we are in touch with all the students and all the faculties. And we were the first ones to do it. The training for Microsoft Teams and this and that. In the in the college, when we are like just got the news that this has come to India and it is spreading out. So you have to be proactive, and you must take these challenges to the fore, and nothing is impossible, and the things will turn out in the better, for everyone. So hope for the best, and
Thank you, sir.
things gonna be beautiful again.
Thank you, sir. So, borrowing from what you mentioned, I think as you mentioned, that the central idea and the key takeaway that we are having is, I think the students need to be kept engaged. They should need to do something productive throughout this period. And borrowing their thought forward, I think at PIET, and I think I was part of some discussions, a director sir can take it forward. I think, is this lead a webinar series is planned as a kind of a extensive period of time, over a period of time. So could you just tell the people, the audience and the attendees here, that the which way you want to structure it and what are the various aspects that will cover up going forward, so they can be kept posted about these subsequent webinar series, so they can drop in, share it with their friends. The idea is a webinar becomes successful when one can tell 10 more people that something is happening. Because
We will just it's a very good question. We will share all the what do you say, the calendar or the timetable of what we're going to do for the the coming month, right? And what kind of webinars we're going to hold. It may be related to some specialized courses like AI, blockchain. And if you want to hear it from the expert, you just want to know that what are students supposed to do, what kind of books they should read at this point of time, and how they can equip themselves, or how they can understand this very concept, so that whether this particular thing is suited for them or not. So some kind of an insight into what is happening around, right? So we will be coming up with all these kind of things shortly, and we will let you know through lot many different platforms like social media platform or things like that, so that you can take advantage of this kind of webinars which we are going to hold in future.
So, director sir, could you just throw some light? Are we planning something in the dimension of management, on the management domain or the commerce domain, and something on those sides? Rakesh, so there was a query also that came from some student. I think is Spite looking at BCom honors from this year?
Yes, definitely. We are very much on to it, like to start BCom honors, Eco honors, and English honors as a course, here at PITE. So apart from all these specializations which we have opened up in engineering domain, so we want that even the commerce students or the art students, they also get the benefit of the things that they can come to PITE and study all these kind of courses. And apart from that, in MBA also, we are opening up some specialization like family business, analytics, and AI also, right? So, and we will having some more certification courses related to your retail management and this and that when you're doing your BBA or BCom, whatever it is, if you want to do. So we will be having more like 2 months or 3 months certifications, so which can really enhance the skills of the people, and they could be easily be employable. So the one thing is like to start up their own businesses, and as you know that Walmart, so that they have also opened office here in our campus. So in order to enhance the manufacturing capabilities of the supplier base in nearby Panipat, and this is the first center which they have opened the whole country, and they want to open up 22 centers, and out of these each centers they want to have approximately 200 vendors to be trained so that they can supply to Walmart. So, and this is a huge responsibility for the students who are going to be invited to understand the dynamics and the strategies which these big companies build, and which they want from the supplier side. So it is just like we want to give the students the best of the things, like the live projects, the live trainings, what is happening around, and around that we want to build all that particular concept. So we are bringing lot many different courses so that the students can get an exposure, and we will be talking about this management and commerce side definitely in the future webinars, and we'll talk about the new avenues in pharmacy even, because this is the need of the hour. Like we need to come into the medical side as well. So we will explore every possible ways how the education can transform in times to come, and we will let you know that we will be holding what kind of an webinar and which dates, and who will be giving the expert talk on that.
I think broadly it can be said that basically on May 1st week we should be off it. As much as I discussed with directors, I think there's
we have already held lot many webinars related to artificial intelligence. The other day there was artificial intelligence talk which happened. It was taken up by some Ericsson scientists and some of the Honeywell scientists, and they are sharing their views with the students. Now we would be opening up this industrial, the kind of an experts panel discussion with the general public as well. Earlier we were just doing it in a closed group. Now we will be doing, along with the students, so that outside people can also join in and they can also take the benefit of it. So we will have a good round of webinars coming up in times to come. So just keep tuned with the what is happening at PITE. So follow our social group and page. So we will keep updating what is happening at PITE, and we'll let you know. And we will grow together in learning, whether it is through experts or through panelists or through industries, and even from the students we want to learn.
So there's a question that has come from one gentleman, I think Mr. Shiv Kumar. I think is PITE looking at something on the psychology honors course. So as much as I understand, I think we do not have a psychology domain focus at this point of time. But yes,
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? So if it is there, like it's a good thing, because we have this is the kind of in course we will definitely be looking forward to in times to come. Let's see how it's unfold. But at this point of time, I cannot say that we will be starting it from this year. But please drop in your inquiry, and if not many people are there who just want to do it, we can also start it. That is not an issue.
So, but I would like to add something here. But I think if someone is looking at psychology, in your BBA department, I was having a discussion with one of your faculty, HOD of the department, that the idea was to start something on the public policy and social work domain as a kind of certification program, which actually brilliantly marries in with psychology. Because that is the final offtake where a person can go with psychology course trying to help the society, work for the society in that domain. So I think someone can actually look at a kind of a hybrid course of BBA along with this kind of certification. I think this becomes one of the very valuable options also for a student. So I think plus they're going for. Any other questions, please carry forward and ask us, because We're there for you. Please raise your hands. I think you can. I think I can ask the host to unmute people so that if they're unmuted, maybe they'll have the confidence to ask the question straight up. Let's see how it goes.
All right. So I will just unmute all.
Let's see how it goes. Let us unmute all, and maybe the decorum is let us see if we can go one by one. That might help us. Yeah,
Right,
please.
sir.
The only request is just ask your question going one by one in case there are questions, please.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, is that Rasika ji again?
Yes, yes, yes.
Please, yeah.
My question is, Rakesh sir just mentioned right now, education 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0 will be coming into the scenario. So what exactly do you mean education 2, 3, and 4? Is it related to IIoT or is it related to some cyber physical systems as such?
नहीं नहीं ये ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. This is nothing like that. This is more about like how the learning and teaching was happening in education 1.0 and what was happening in education 2.0. Right? Education 1.0 and education 2.0, that was more or less a teacher centric approach, right? Because every information that was to be delivered to the student, it has to come from the teacher side. So the access to the information was very limited. I also remember when we used to go to the school, if we want to have any kind of an inquiry, and if the teacher is there, if the teacher says, okay, fine, we will revert back to you, then we have to wait for, that particular moment when the teacher says, okay, fine, I'm ready with that particular answer. If the teacher doesn't answer, that particular inquiry get lost, somewhere. So now that is not what is happening now. The access to information is unlimited. You have that access to internet now. The students have that smart devices in their hands. If the teacher says something wrong and some wrong figures, right, the students come up and say, okay, hi, ma'am, please, you have quoted this particular figure. Now this is not particular relevant. Now this new figure has come out. So that access to information is very much there, but we have not changed the concept. Like now still also the teacher is a central form of the delivery of the system. The teacher comes into the class, they delivers the lectures, and so on and so forth. But that should not be the case. Now what is education 3.0? 3.0 is more about giving access to the students, making it a two-way communication and evolving flip based learning, right? And flip based learning is like disseminating the knowledge before that particular class through LMS system, learning management system, like we have been doing it, and equipping the students with all that kind of information beforehand, and then forming certain groups in the classes, right? And these groups can discuss that particular thing, and the teacher can ask, and the teachers become the facilitator instead of just a lecturer or a speaker who is there to deliver a kind of an PPT presentation and things like that. So that should not happen like that. If you really want to have a very creative class, very the students who can involve themselves into a particular situation, then you have to make open all the students with the ideas. And okay, fine, the classes, the quiet classes are not the classes of education 3.0. You need to have the noisy classes, where everyone's talk about what is happening and listens. If any students is not able to communicate the right thing, that the teacher has to pinpoint and connect all the dots together. So this is how education 3.0 works. Now education 4 is a bit further than what education 3.0 is. Like now web becomes the curriculum. Now the teachers and the students are the co-learners, right? They may be a step higher or a step lower, but they learn together, right? Now web is a curriculum, they can learn it from anywhere, anytime, right? And the schools and the colleges will be will be known as the kind of places where these students and the teachers go to interact and to validate the things, as I already said in my previous comments. that the teacher and the students, the students which they work on some kind of in projects, they want to hear it out. Okay, fine, what his friend has done in relation to that. So, and your libraries, like you have the libraries, you have written over there pin drop silence and this and that. So there is a huge hall where everyone sits and everyone is quiet. So this is not going to be the library of the future. So the libraries was going to be like a library where you have different rooms. You can book all these rooms like in advance, and you want to have a collaborative learning platform, right? So you have read the book, when you have that kind of an private time at home or at the point of time when no one can disturb you. But now you want to have a kind of and talk about what you have read and what other people have read, and then you can innovate, you can ideate, right? So then you will be needing a room for 4 people, room for 10 people, room for 6 people in the library, where you can book and where you can talk. So talking is the key here, right? Interaction is the key here, right? As someone has said that the learning take place outside the class. So outside the class, why it has been said like that? So outside the class means the people can talk. In the conventional classrooms, you're not allowed to speak. So that is what the problem is. That is how you have to transform from education to education 2. We are very much into the education 2, where you have the facility of the computer sets. We have the facility of all these projectors and the things, but we have not moved into interactive sessions. We have not moved into the brainstorming sessions. We have not moved into the role reversal, where the students also come in forefront and they talk about what the theories are. And we are not empowering the students to be the leaders of the future. So this is what the lacking is, and we need to work on all these aspects, and we are continuously working on this particular thing. And this is very close to my heart, that we have to make all our institution in the country education 4.0 compliant, so that we can work hand in hand and we can make India proud.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much. Beautifully expressed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Most welcome.
Yeah. Any other questions, please? I think I'll unmute all in case someone wants to ask a question. Some students, they're like,
So there is one question on Q&A from Shiv Kumar. He's willing to ask if there are any plans on starting psychology courses.
I think that has been answered. That has been taken up. Yeah.
Right.
Already taken. Yeah. Any other question? Or should we? I think now, Shakti, now you can just bring on to the final slide and show about the various initiatives that PITE has actually done over the period of time, so that actually they can understand. But before that, I just like to ask Rakesh, sir, because I think as a family, as a body, as an institute, PITE has been really very, very, institution really socially sensitive. Like your entire thought of coming up so fast with the PPE development, PPE kit developing and taking forward. And as much as I've heard through the news, because we just hear news, because I'm based out of Noida, Panipat, that even PITE has also been kind of a place which is actually district has actually tied up to actually help facilitate the poor people, the impoverished, or the people who are suffering from anything kind of a self-quarantine zone or something. Is something funny PITE is doing on that domain?
I tell you one thing, because lot many people are helping these underprivileged people at this point of time. But the thing is, what we have done is we have come up with the kind of an Samajik card, like the card the people have, the ration card and things like that. So we have come up with the kind of an like Samajik card. So, and this is for the kind of an labor who have come from outside states. They don't have house, they don't have some kind of an proof that they are the resident of Panipat. So they don't get any kind of an help from the district administration or the government or the people. So because these are the unfortunate ones, like who are not able to meet their days, and उनको खाना नहीं मिलता है, and they just have to sleep empty stomach. तो हम इन लोगों के लिए we have come up with this kind of a Samaji card. So we have asked our NSS volunteers to go and see every ward that who are these people who needs our help, and we are giving them rations, the dry rations, so that they can live comfortably. The other aspect is like we have given our all the college premises for this quarantine system, and there are many people who are staying in our hostel, and to sanitize all that stuff we have already made that sanitizing tunnel, so that the things are pretty safe over there. तो हम ये सारी चीजें इनिशिएटिव करते हैं और करते रहेंगे, because in the difficult times sometimes what happens is कि the people maintain distance from this kind of thing because they don't want to clean this up, because what I think is someone has to come forward to clean all this mess, and the things are not going to be good on its own, right? So we are people, when we come together we can clear any mess which has been created, but we have to be alert, we have to be tactical in that we also don't get contaminated in process, right? So we have to maintain that social distance and all that precautions which are there. So with the help of the technology and with the help of a little bit of common sense, I guess everything is possible. And we are there with all these COVID warriors. Even we are planning to launch a scholarship scheme with to the family members of the COVID barriers. So if they've been involved into any kind of a direct involvement with this kind of an COVID patients, and they got contaminated in process, and if they would want to study here at PITE, we will definitely offer some good scholarship to the students.
Thank you very much. I think Shakti, we can just talk about the various initiatives at PITE, and I think
here we have Rakesh sir, director sir, and Arindam sir has given a very good description about the Industrial Revolution 4.0, Education 4.0, emerging technologies has been discussed, and what the PITE is providing right now is also being discussed. And that are some initiatives that are taken by the PITE to start and work with the emerging technologies, to run with the current industry requirements, to boost up the students to learn in today's era. So first of all, PITE is going to start up its own startup incubation center. Project-based learning is there, where all the students are working on a real-time projects, and learning is based on complete project-based. Student exchange program, where students are going might be at international level or at the national level, and learning there in different universities or industries. Interdisciplinary projects, interdisciplinary education system that is adopted by the PITE. And right now we are going to start a number of courses, either with a specialization in a graduation or with some specialization category or emerging subjects with other graduations. Industry interaction, center of excellence, artificial intelligence based evaluation system, professional societies and clubs, blended education, flip learning, number of seminars, workshops, conferences, and faculty development programs. These all are the initiatives that are taken up by the PITE, and which is giving a dynamic platform to the researchers, to the students, and to the faculty also who are working there. Because right now, faculty is becoming as a practitioner. They're also in a learning stage. They are also learning the things with the students, because right now education, technology, platforms, everything is changing. So PITE is providing a very good platform for all the entities. Thank you. Arindam sir, could you?
Yeah, my last take is I think I want to hear from one of the legendary researchers in place, I think director sir. So I want you to talk about your LIFI initiative which you have taken. Maybe if you could just explain the audience, and then maybe subsequently you can actually have one dedicated webinar explaining the concept about how LIFI works, and a lot of interested people can come forward with it. Today was more a kind of a sensitization orientation, trying to know each other, where we stand. So, director sir. on the
See,
life
whenever we talk about any industrial revolutions are always the manufacturing is revolutionized, but along with the manufacturing, you find your transportation, the logistic networks are revolutionized. You find your communication networks are revolutionized. When we talk about today's communication technology, we find we have 4G communication going on. But if you have a look at the remote surgeries to be performed, you find 4G will not be sufficient to carry out robotics-based remote surgeries. And remote surgeries are very important today. Let's say you have certain kind of infrastructure far away in the remote areas, but the experts are available only in the AIIMS. So doctors from the AIIMS should be able to carry out operations maybe deep inside the hills in the Himachal Pradesh or the Uttarakhand. So for this kind of AI-based, robotics-based operations or surgeries to be carried out, the communication technology has to be very fast. And we find we are in 4G, but from the 4G we need to go to the 5G, which may appear to be, there are side effects. We find a lot of birds are dying because of that. It has the side effect, 5G has a side effect, but 5G is required. Now, if the 5G has got the side effects, then what could be done? When we talk about the 4G uses radio communication, and this radio communication is basically some kind of radiation, electromagnetic radiation, which affects the body. And when we go to the 5G further has got effects onto the human body. But we need the broader bandwidth. We need the fast communication. Light offers a source. If rather than using radio communication, we could use light as a communicating source, you find the side effects caused by the electromagnetic waves may not be there. The communication may be very fast, and it will have the gigabits of bandwidth available to us. So PITE started with an experiment that could be carry out the transmissions which are currently carried out on the radio waves. Could we do such kind of transmissions on the light waves? Professor Haas was the first, and we carried forward his research and brought a television which is based upon television communication, which is based upon the light waves rather than the electromagnetic or the radio waves. And we were very successful in establishing PITE's own Li-Fi based TV station, which is the next generation communication technology. So we'll have more of the bandwidths available for the communication. We'll have less of the side effects, physical side effects, which are caused by the electromagnetic radiations, which current 4G or the 5G, which is offering. So less disturbance, more bandwidth, cheaper bandwidth, and fast communication. This is what we are going to drive. And initial experiments are very successful. We are hoping that we'll carry forward this experiment and make Li-Fi based TVs or Li-Fi based communication at very inexpensive charges.
Fantastic. So I guess all the patents and everything is sorted, because I think that's such a phenomenal idea. If it's lost to others, so I think.
Yeah, initial success has been wonderful, and we are hoping that we'll go to the next level soon.
I think any Rakesh, say you want to add something before anything?
I guess the things are pretty okay. So, and we will have more webinars in times to come. So we can share and we can come up with the new things, and we will share it soon with all the viewers. And we can conclude. We can conclude this webinar now, I guess.
I think for a start, it's been a fantastic moment interacting with all of you. Means interacting in the virtual space, not in the real space. So great learning, and I think we all enjoyed this interaction. I think have a great time. Stay safe, stay healthy. God bless all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.